All right, let's be real for a second. We all know our zodiac sign, right? It's like one of the first things you learn about yourself. I'm a Taurus, maybe you're a fiery Leo or a thoughtful Virgo, but have you ever just stopped and thought about it? I mean, just 12 personality types for, what? 8 billion people on Earth? That's kind of crazy when you say it out loud.
So in this explainer, we're going to dig into that exact question. We're going to look at the history, the science, and even the psychology behind astrology to figure out what's really going on. And I got to tell you, what we find might just change the way you look at the night sky forever.
Okay, so first things first, how in the world do you even test something like astrology? Well, back in the 80s, one physicist came up with what's basically considered the gold standard, a scientific test to see if professional astrologers could actually do what they claim they can do.
And here it is, the Carlson experiment. This wasn't some small-time thing. It involved 28 of the most respected, top-tier astrologers in both Europe and America. We're talking about the pros, not your weekend hobbyists. The whole goal was super simple. See if their astrological skills actually worked under strict scientific conditions.
And you know what's really cool about this? The design was so fair that the astrologers themselves helped create it. They all agreed, yep, this is a fair test of our abilities. All they had to do was take a person's birth chart, look at 3 different personality profiles, and pick the one that matched. That's it. Sounds easy enough, right?
Well, drum roll please. Here are the results. Now, if you were just guessing, like closing your eyes and pointing, you'd get it right about a third of the time. That's 33%. The astrologers, they swore they could nail it more than half the time, over 50%, but their actual score was 34%. 34! They were no better than pure random chance. It was an absolutely stunning blow to astrology's scientific claims. So, if the science doesn't hold up, where did this whole thing come from anyway? To figure that out, we've got to travel back in time, way back, like 3,000 years, to ancient Babylon. This is where the zodiac was born, and its original purpose, well, it's probably not what you think.
You see, the Babylonians couldn't have cared less about your love life or your career. For them, the sky was a tool. It was, first and foremost, a practical calendar. It told them when to plant their crops, when to harvest, and yeah, even when to pay their taxes. And second, it was about interpreting big omens for the state. An eclipse didn't mean you were going to have a bad day. It meant the king might be in serious trouble.
But here's the thing. While they were mapping out their neat and tidy 12-month calendar in the sky, the Babylonians hit a pretty major snag. When they actually tracked the sun's path through the constellations, they didn't find 12. They found this many.
That's right, 13. There was a 13th zodiac constellation, this forgotten sign called Ophiuchus, the serpent bearer. But, 13 is a messy number. It doesn't fit into a perfect 12-month calendar. So what did these ancient astronomers do? They just dropped it. They literally edited the cosmos to make their paperwork easier. So right from the very beginning, the whole system had a flaw baked right in.
But the problems don't stop there. It's not just that they fudged the numbers in the beginning. The sky itself has changed. There is a massive astronomical reason why your horoscope today is completely out of sync with the stars.
It all comes down to something called axial precession. The easiest way to think about it is like a spinning top. You know how when a top starts to slow down, it gets that little wobble? Well, the Earth does the same thing, just really, really slowly. Over thousands of years, that wobble means our view of the stars from Earth changes. The bottom line is, the sky we see today is not the same sky the Babylonians saw.
So how much has it shifted? Get ready for this. It's shifted by about 1 full zodiac sign. Take a look at this. These are the dates astrologers still use versus where the sun actually is in the sky today. So let's say you think you're an Aries because you were born on April 1st. Well, sorry to break it to you, but astronomically, on that day, the sun is still hanging out in the constellation Pisces. And this isn't a small thing. It turns out that for about 86% of people, the sign they think they are just isn't right.
So if it started as a flawed farming calendar for ancient kings, how on earth did it become this super personal thing for millions of people today? Well, let's follow the breadcrumbs.
It really took off when Alexander the Great conquered Babylon. Suddenly, the ancient Greeks had access to all this Babylonian star data. And they did what the Greeks did best. They made it all about the individual. They basically said, forget the fate of the king, what about my destiny? And just like that, the personal horoscope was invented. They also slapped their own myths and legends onto the constellations, creating that circle of animals we now call the zodiac.
But even 1,000 years ago, brilliant thinkers were already calling it out.
The great Persian physician and philosopher Ibn Sina pointed out this huge logical flaw he called infinite complexity. He basically argued, look, to do a real horoscope, you'd have to calculate the effect of every single star and planet on a single person at birth. It's an infinitely complex, impossible calculation. So anyone claiming they could do it, he said, was basically a fraud.
Okay, so the science doesn't work, the astronomy is totally outdated, and the history is a bit of a mess. So, why does it still feel so true? Why do we read a horoscope and think, wow, that's totally me? Well, the answer isn't up in the stars, it's right here, inside our own heads. Let me introduce you to the main psychological trick that makes astrology work. It's called the Barnum effect. It's named after the famous showman P.T. Barnum, who said his circus had a little something for everyone. And that's exactly how horoscopes operate. They use vague, general statements that can apply to pretty much anybody.
I mean, listen to this classic Barnum statement. Who doesn't feel that way? We all crave approval, and we're all our own toughest critics sometimes. But when you read that in your horoscope, your brain just wants to believe it's special. It feels like this deep personal insight, when really, it describes just about everyone on the planet.
And there's another psychological punch. It's called self-attribution. So if your whole life you've been told you're a Leo, and Leos are supposed to be confident leaders, you might actually start acting more like a confident leader to fit that description. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The horoscope seems true because you're helping make it true. And, when you actually look at the hard data, the whole idea just evaporates. A massive study in 2020 looked at the personalities of over 175,000 people. They compared their actual measured personality traits to their zodiac signs. And the result? Zero. Absolutely no correlation. Leos were no more outgoing than Capricorns. It's all just randomly scattered. And yet, these psychological hooks are so powerful, they fuel a multi-billion-dollar industry. Right now, the market for astrology apps is huge, and it's projected to explode to $30 billion by 2033. It's basically an automated Barnum effect in your pocket, spitting out endless, vague predictions to keep you coming back for more.
So when you put it all together, a zodiac that was missing a piece from day one, a sky that has completely changed, and a system that works because of psychology, not astronomy, it leads to a pretty big question. The question isn't what the stars have planned for you. The real question is, who's actually in control of your story?